Love on the High Seas, a serialized gay romance taking place on the Caribbean cruise liner, the Majestic Star. Follow along with me as I take everyone on an epic adventure with love, murder, and mystery. Penned by Ryland Mason, narrated by me, Brian Shepard.
Episode 4, Joey. The security chief took pictures and made notes of the room. Statements from Chance and I went rather quick as we both saw the same thing and did not know him. I'm hoping Eric has the answers we need, as he did say he knew him. The body was then taken out by the medical staff to be brought to the morgue. Yes, the ship has a morgue. Only enough room for 2. Never thought that they would be used, until now. Eric, you said you knew him, so who is he? I asked, as I'm sure the security chief also wanted to know. Roger Flemings. He's an antique dealer. I met him at a captain's dinner, and again on a different cruise. He told me he would bounce from port to port buying antiques and having them shipped back home. He used to be a jeweler, he said as my eyes went wide. Of course. I bet you 300 million he was here for the crown. A crown that is aboard my ship with Jack and Christopher. I will need to have a conversation with Jack, but first we need to make it through the canal. Like I said before, the canal is not fun. Permission needs to be granted before a ship can pass through. Sometimes ships could wait up to 25 hours before being let in to cross. Normally, it's one ship at a time through the channel. However, if there are 2 ships the same size, then they can both travel at one time. Measures and a pilot come on board. Measures verifies my carrying capacity and to collect tolls. Our passage has already been paid for. Manifests, ship papers, and other documents are inspected and recorded. Transits are scheduled and monitored at points along the route by an automated marine traffic control system. Pretty cool, if you ask me. Staff Captain Andrews took care of the canal business, while the security chief, Eric, Justin, myself, and Chance all headed for the security office. Jack was already notified by Eric and told to meet us. I'm sure he would be bringing Christopher with him. We need to get to the bottom of this before anything bad happens. Flemings was traveling alone. Roger was in his mid-60s, never married and no children. I believe he mentioned a brother. The company would find all that out soon enough. Why do I have the feeling that he was here to make a deal with this Cassius guy you warned me about? He has to have figured out by now that you too have the crown, I said as I looked at each one. The security chief had a look of confusion, which is fine. I'll fill him in later. Right now, we need to find Cassius and bring him in for questioning. It's possible. I know he's on board along with 2 men. I don't want what happened in the jungle happening here, Jack said, looking at Christopher, who had a worried look on his face. Chief, I want Cassius St. James brought in for questioning. I don't believe he'll be any trouble, considering we are in the canal. If needed, we can ask for help from Panama Security. Eric, thank you for your help. If we need anything else, I'll let you know. Jack, Christopher, you 2 need to keep clear of this guy until he's brought in. The ship had about 10 hours before we made it completely across the lake and out the locks. I needed to wrap this up quickly, as I did not need a panic on board. If news got out that a dead body was found, I can just imagine the questions and concerns I would deal with. Best to keep this under wraps for now. Chance returned to his cabin, while I made my way back to the bridge to check in on our progress. We should be close to lock number 2. takes time to raise a ship 85 feet above sea level. Now that we were on our way to the third and final lock before hitting the lake, everything seemed to be going well. No issues. I went to check in on Chance the moment I was able to. He didn't look so good after leaving security. Maybe some dinner in the lounge before he heads to the show tonight. Finally, walking up to his cabin, I proceeded to knock. When the door opened, I was expecting Chance, but was greeted by Justin. I understand that they are best friends who have known each other ever since Justin joined the company they work for. So it's no surprise that it would be Justin to see to his friend. "Hey, Joey, I was just on my way out." "Hey, Chance, Joey's here," he announced as he stepped out of the way and held the door open for me to walk in. "Chance, I will see you after tonight's show," he said, and then he walked out. He was sitting at the end of the bed, trying to smile as I walked over to him. "Hey," he said, looking up at me. Sadness is all I saw. Okay, plan B. Go straight to asking about dinner. Last thing he needs is another person checking up on him. "Hi. I was wondering if you would join me for dinner in the Star Lounge. I was thinking it would be an early distraction, and I would love to escort you to the show tonight. I happen to have front row seats if you'd like to join me. No pressure. You don't have to, and I completely understand." Okay, calm down now. I'm just babbling. Yeah, I must have said the right thing, as he's now smiling. "That sounds wonderful. I'm just going to shower and change. Can I meet you, say in an hour from now?" he asked as he stood up from the bed. "Of course. I too need to get ready. However, I will return here to walk you to the lounge." "All right then. I will get ready and I'll see you in about an hour," he said as I simply nodded, smiled, and turned to leave. Getting back to my cabin, I too wanted to shower and change into a new uniform. Tonight is the opening night for the play The Sea King, a story about a king who has lost everything, finds himself at the brink of war. When the sea gods finally answer his pleas for help, they do answer. But there is a price for their help. His daughter must marry the enemy. Shillings always would recommend that I at least show up for opening night, as it looks good for the ship, and the cast perform better, knowing I'm sitting and watching. I don't do musicals, so I'm hoping there's no singing. Tonight, however, was all about dining under the stars. That's what dinner is called. Dining under the stars was featured on Grace Line ships from East and West Coast ports to the Caribbean and South America via, you guessed it, the Panama Canal during the 1930s. The new owners decided to bring that tradition back. The dining room is located on the upper deck. Bad in rough weather, I'm afraid. The dining room also features wide casement windows that open to the promenade deck. The ceiling is the best part, as it rolls back, so passengers could dine under the stars. Not the entire ceiling, just the middle. Now that I was showered and wearing a new uniform, I was ready to head back to meet Chance and make our way to the lounge. I had a feeling things would turn around. I believe that the dinner and tonight's show will be just the distraction he needs. I, on the other hand, still had to deal with security. Chance happened to be walking out of his cabin by the time I turned down the hall, making my way there. Looking good as usual, and he seemed to be in a better mood as he was smiling from ear to ear as soon as he turned to see me coming. I'm going to be the luckiest guy on the ship. "Wow, dressed to a T, I see. The uniform suits you. That, and you look good in it," he said while taking in the sight of my uniform. It was getting a bit snug in the arms and legs. Maybe it was time to switch my routine. "Are we ready? I hope you're hungry, as I believe the cruise director went old school again with the menu." I believe he did the same for breakfast. It seems that this ship is trying to bring back the old days when sailing in this very ship would only cost $250. I googled the ship to learn more and found that to be interesting, as that's not what I paid, he said, laughing. The Star Lounge was refurbished to keep the original interior design, as the past owner wanted to gut it entirely and make it flashy and pop, as she put it. I told her no, as well as the entire design team. Miss Ellsworth was not pleased, and I believe she stormed out of that meeting. The waiter was quick to see us, walking up to the doors as he grabbed 2 menus and asked us to please follow him. This has shillings all over it. How else would the waiter know that we were dining this evening? We were seated in the middle of the room. It seemed like the best place to sit, and of course it was, as they would soon roll back the middle of the ceiling to reveal the night sky. Our meal came and went, and even into dessert, I still wanted to know more about him. We had covered so much you would think we were on a date. Wait, a date? A dinner and a movie. Anyways, he's now just staring at me funny. Oh boy, he asked a question, and I wasn't paying attention. I don't know if I can. What do you think? He asked. Great. If he can what? Just then, the crew began to roll the ceiling back to reveal the open sky with stars everywhere. Wow, that's amazing, he said, looking up at the sky, and then for a moment he closed his eyes. I just sat there watching, and then he opened them, looking down at me. I made a wish, he said with a smile. I hope you get that wish, I said as we both then looked up. It was a very clear night. Now it was time to move on to the theater. The captain always sat up front. The theater was not very big. It held about 100 passengers. That's why there are 3 showings, so everyone has a chance to see the performance. Same goes for the music shows. We made our way to the front and sat down. Enjoying yourself so far? Asking as a subtle way of checking in on him. We had a great conversation at dinner. Things seemed to be going well. Maybe I was looking for reassurance for myself. I'm having a great time, thank you. Are you? He asked. I am having an excellent time. Dinner was exceptional, and I learned quite about you. Now I have the pleasure of watching the opening night's show with you. What could be better? I said to him, as it really was going fantastic. And, oh no, Anita is coming this way. No, please don't sit there. Well, there goes that. Hello, boys. What a wonderful night for a dinner and a show. Captain, looking dapper for the first showing, as always. And you, dear, pointing at Chance, are looking handsome tonight. Isn't he just handsome, Captain? She didn't. Of course she did. Well, I won't be lying. Chance is a very handsome man, perfect inside and out, a kind and caring person. Well, it's the truth, as I could see him start to blush, as both just stared at me. Anita with her grin, the grin of mischief. Saved by shillings coming onto the stage as the doors closed and the lights dimmed. Welcome, everyone, to the opening of a brand new show which debuts tonight. The Sea King is a great story to be told while we ourselves float upon the vast ocean. Good Lord, mate. Horrible, I think to myself as I'm just looking at him with a bit of disgust. Maybe an eye roll. Can't remember. That's when he's looking right at me, which had my attention. Maybe he saw the eye roll. Captain, we are honored you are here tonight. Now, everyone, please enjoy the show, he says as he tries to find the break in the curtain and couldn't. I laughed out loud. Oops. I didn't mean to do that. Okay, maybe a little. Shillings finally just ended up walking off the stage. As we watched the show, I couldn't help myself from looking at him from time to time. I could see he was mesmerized by the show and the story unfolding on stage. I had to admit, the show was bloody well good so far, until the Sea King broke out in song. Well, I can't win them all. The show was a success. Everyone was out of their seats applauding. That's when gunshots rang out, followed by shouts and screams as men with guns jumped up onto the stage and were in the aisles. Some wore a ship's uniform.